So we're here at Mr. Cameraman's house, and I believe the insurance is paid for the rear slope only of the roof. When we arrived, we did account for 4 creased shingles that I believe may just have been missed in the initial report. So again, we could argue that the damage wasn't accounted for, which it wasn't, and we'll send photos with that. But at the same time, we're gonna go ahead and do a repair video to show that if I was forced to make this repair and I had to remove these cap shingles, you're gonna have to pull this stack of shingles here up enough to slide the felt 4 to 6 inches up over the roof and under the shingles. So that felt's gonna have to come up and over to about here. And all of these shingles, the entire length of the roof, have to be lifted up, and that felt has to be lined up underneath it. It can't be squished underneath. It has to be laid flat and be proper. That's a very tall order to ask. It's very rarely is successful. So what we're gonna do is, instead of doing that and leaving the homeowner with a big hole in their ridge cap here, we're just gonna do a repair video on the front of a random shingle and just show what happens from there. And we can either go with repairability and the discontinued shingle and the mismatch and this new damage. And I think that should be accounted for to get this roof approved. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Not a lot of resistance with the shingle being able to be unsealed, so that's good. That nail's kind of already popped through the shingle, which is what we were worried about here. Again, the nail did come up when I pulled on it, and it pulled right through the shingle. So just to show that, like, you can't even get the nail out of the shingle without the shingle breaking, because that's how brittle that shingle is. Every one of them is doing that right now. Again, we can get them out, but they're pulling right through the shingle. So that would happen on every one of these shingles all the way up and down this line. As soon as I get that bar in there, it's already trying to pull up around that nail. So I don't think these are overdriven or anything. I just think that the shingle is just too brittle to withstand that pressure. Every one of them is doing that. It's crazy. Get that one out. Got one. Hey, look at that. Again, and you'll notice I'm keeping this bar down low. I'm not trying to overlift the shingles to cause damage. We're simply just trying to perform a regular repair. And that starts with getting the nails out. And that is not happening easily. Another one just popped right through. Crazy. Right over that one. That's wild. Just gonna pull through. try to safely remove it without causing even more damage is just to let it pull through. At least this way we would only have damage from the nail holes blowing out. So if I flip this shingle over, you can see where these were the nails I had to pull out, obviously, but every one of these others blew right through. And that means every shingle that's still on this roof has a hole in it, just like that. You can see a little bit of that material transfer here along the edge. Not a lot, surprisingly, but it is present. So just from having to manipulate the shingles, we're probably already looking at some granule loss here. You can see how it just falls right off the shingle. Over here where I'm not manipulating, I don't know how well you can see it. Just not as many granules coming off the roof at all. So now we're going to install just another 3-tab we have. Again, the shingle's discontinued with no match. So now that we've accounted for the damages that were either missed at the desk or in the field, I think the matching argument is the true way to go here. But we can still talk about matching it at this point if we want. So definitely not the best repair. Definitely not going to hold up in a legal standpoint. I'm only lifting that shingle up enough that I can get my nail and my hammer to clear. I'm not really folding it back further than it needs to be folded. And I don't know if pliability is really the best way, but they seem like they would stand the lift a little bit, but I'm sure when we check for the functionality and the granule loss at the end, I think that's where we're going to see the fail. Don't have a lot of nails to put in here because we didn't get a lot out. So we're going to drop 4 in. And now we can kind of see where we're at here. So again, we've had to manipulate 1, 2, 3 shingles to make the repair. You can see the granule loss on the shingles that we've had to manipulate is pretty significant compared to those just right over here. You can see where there's no delamination of the shingle. Those granules are holding pretty tight when I rub the shingle. Not sure how well you can see that or not. And here you can already see this creasing starting to form. So not only do we have a discontinued shingle that's going to mismatch, so by that I mean if I install new cap shingle here, you're going to see it from the road, and it's not going to match this 3-tab shingle. So we're going to have that mismatch. We've got the 4 shingles that were not accounted for, and we know that the repairability of the roof fails. Can't get the nails out, and the shingles are not resilient enough to withstand just a little bit of lifting for a hammer for a small repair. So roof's not repairable, unaccounted for damages, and a complete mismatch. So I believe it should be replaced, and repair is not a legal option here. Thanks.